Michelle. Hi, everyone. Oh, sweetie. Okay, hello. Well, hopefully we will have a less eventful situation this week. So I'm looking forward to that. Whew, I feel like I'm all windblown. Hi, sweetheart. I had the opportunity to, where'd I go? I had the opportunity, oops, I just did something bad on Instagram. Hold on, sorry. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm live on Instagram. I'm live on Facebook. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully we'll have a less eventful situation today. I had the privilege of going over to Disney World this morning, to ride the Chan ride, and that was super fun. We have friends that are cast members, and my son is actually working on some of the components for it, and it was just it was a real privilege and a real joy to get to see some of the things in action. I feel like my hair's all, I feel like I'm all windblown today. But I hope you are all well and having a wonderful week. I know it's Monday, so like we just got in it, right? But I want to say that there's a lot going on, and I think we all know this, right? There's a lot going on. So we are just coming out of the full moon energy, right? We had this full moon energy, and at the same time, we also now this is like the Taurus full moon, and so we have had. I'm trying to find my notes that I wanted to share with you, and I'm not finding them. So hang on a second. There we go. Okay. So this is a time about communication. So even though I know we're out of thanks, Michael. Even though I know we're out of the retrograde, right? We're out of Mercury retrograde. Phew. But we are still in this time of full moon, and it is still a time that's pushing us about communicating and having these hard conversations with people. And this is the full moon in Taurus, so it's really important that we are not like barreling through and pushing buttons. And we want to come together with compassion. I think it's so hard to see. We're so conditioned, it can be so hard to see from someone else's perspective, or to see from, walk in their shoes. And right now is a great time to have some of these conversations that maybe we've been hiding from, waiting till after the full moon energy is done. I said to my husband, I said, there's things we need to like have a conversation about, but let's wait until after the full moon, because we don't want to be like all jammed up and all amped up on full moon energy, and then we have this time where we're like having what would be a productive conversation, but everybody's getting like this, right? Hi, Jody. So we want to make sure that we have this this time that we can really connect with each other in a peaceful, equal way. So we're both coming to the table as equals. Nobody is above anybody else. And so if there are things that you've been maybe avoiding, or conversations you've been hiding from, this is a really good time to reach out and say, hey, our relationship is important. Let's see if we can talk about things. Let's see if we can maybe come to some agreement, or we can come to some commonality. It doesn't have to be a full resolution. It doesn't have to be, perfect. We're not trying to like fix the world, but we can maybe take a step. Okay, and so this moon time, now that we're past the full moon, is a part about communicating with each other, and that can be really important. So right now, there's also a lot of opportunity for us to shift our own patterns, to shift. That saying, if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten. And we have people who are like, well, why do you do that? Well, that's because we've always done it that way. And so we have these things where we're so entrenched in this is the way we've always done it. that we sometimes can't see that there could be another opportunity. And so this gives us an opportunity right now. As we are moving, was it, I think I may have said that wrong, but it wasn't the Taurus full moon. It was not, it was the Leo full moon. My apologies. Again, charging full in. And so this is the time for us to really be compassionate and be open-hearted for things that may be different. That doesn't make them wrong. It's very common where we feel this sort of knee-jerk reaction when something is different, that we immediately are like, right? And so it's important that we are giving ourselves the opportunity to say, well, what is that? And tell me more about this before we immediately, rush to a judgment about it. So give yourself the opportunity to be curious and to, Intuitive Deborah, look, you're going to get banned right away. Banning you. Bye. Banning from the page. We don't have spammers here. Bye. So if you're a spammer, just leave now, because we're just going to ban you and you'll just be banned for life. So I don't mess around with spammers here. If you're here and you're not genuinely here for what we're doing, you can just leave now, because we're just going to ban you. So this is a time to be curious. This is a time to, and we've talked about this before, to ask this question, what if? Well, what if? I mean, sometimes we don't try to do something because we say, well, what if something happens? Well, what if something great happens? What if? And so in this Leo, as we're coming out of the Leo full moon energy, this is a great opportunity for us to say, what if? And to revisit relationships or conversations that maybe we've been hiding from because we just didn't want to have the hard talk. And so right now is a great time for rebirth, reimagining ourselves, reimagining our path, and reimagining relationships. Now, I'm not, saying kick anybody to the curb. I'm not saying that. But if there's been challenging places in your relationship, this is such a beautiful time to be able to say to somebody with compassion, I'm really uncomfortable when you act like that. Or I feel very uncomfortable when you say that. And I'm hoping that maybe we could talk about it. So I'm not saying, you do this and you're wrong. I'm not coming from an aggressive stance, and I'm not coming from a place that is negativizing or shaming that person, but to be able to say, I own it. I feel like this when you act like that. Now, that could just be on me, that, maybe I just need to toughen it up, or I just need to turn a blind eye, or I need to shift my behavior. But I'm wondering if we can talk about it. We put so much on the other person when we say, well, when they do that, I feel like this. But it's important to turn it around. That says, oh, look, more spammers. McMillan, Chevron, banned. Bye. See you. Bye. Bye. We have no spammers here. So if you're a spammer, just leave now, because we're going to ban you. So we have these things where we say, when you do this, I feel like this. But we need to flip it around and take this ownership to say, I feel like this when this happens. Can we talk about it? Because oftentimes we find that the person who may be the culprit in your mind that's causing you to feel like this, first of all, no one's causing us to feel any kind of way. We cause that of ourselves. But the person that is bringing that up for you, or that you are allowing to, have that to be brought up for you, they may not have any idea that this is happening. I had this conversation with my husband. I said, when you do this, this is how I feel. He's like, oh, that's not how I meant it at all. Gee whiz, I'm so sorry. That's not where I'm coming from. And so this is the time that the moon is right, the stars are aligned. This is the time for you to consider if there have been people around you that maybe you need to reopen communications with, or maybe there are people that rub you the wrong way, but you really love them and you would love to have them back in your life. Maybe this is the time to see if those relationships can be adjusted. And it isn't about somebody being right and somebody being wrong. Remember that someone doesn't have to be wrong in order for someone else to be right. It can be yes and. It doesn't have to be either or. I guess I'm too Aquarius and I hate conflict. It gets too easy to just say nothing. So You're right, Michael. So you're not really ignoring it because there's that part of it that's eating you up inside. And who's the one who suffers from that? It's a really good point. Michael says, I guess I'm too Aquarius. I hate conflict. It gets too easy to just say nothing and then I just ignore it, but it still is bothering him inside. And so he's the one who's really not ignoring it. So we hold this negative energy. And I'll tell you, so I'm going to tell you something that just happened to me. So my husband and I, we had this situation where an interest of ours kind of jutted up against the interest of somebody else's, and there may be some confusion about, you know, where boundaries are and what the situation, the reality of the situation really is. And we don't really know the other people involved. And so I said, well, you know, let's talk to the other people involved and see if we can figure out what the truth of the situation is and see if we can figure it out. And so, you know, I knew I wasn't going to be able to like send an email or anything about it until today. And so I find myself, you know, I'm ruminating. It's going over and over and over in my head, right? And I'm like, I get upset and I get stressed and I'm holding on to it and I'm like, ah. But as soon as I sent the email today and I said, you know, hey, this is, you know, who we are in the situation. This is the situation in case you weren't aware of it. And, you know, let's make a time that we can talk about it. Now, I have no idea what the outcome is going to be. I am sure I have a lot of trust in the universe that it's going to be a positive outcome and that it's just a misunderstanding. And I'm also trusting that, you know, not everybody had all the facts and was operating on, you know, a place where not everybody understood the whole situation on both sides. I'm not trying to say I'm, you know, all this or they're all that, but just the opportunity to open the door to say, you know, hey, we're both in this situation. Let's come together and try and figure it out. Make just that action, even though nothing's happened yet, has made me feel better. Because a lot of times we have this thing where we feel like we're not in control or we've given up control. So in Michael's case, he's given up the control and he's just accepted to feel negative about it. And over time, that can really muck with your energy and it can also muck with your health, depending on how big of a situation it might have been. But when we can take one step, even if it's a baby step, we can take one step towards that person, that situation, even to address it, whether it's a positive or negative outcome, whether there's a resolution at all. We take back a modicum of control. We take back our power and we say, I'm not going to take this lying down, but I also don't have to pick up swords or yelling or anything in order to come to a conversation or come to a table about this. And so what I'm saying is that this is a time that literally the stars are aligned, that if you have some things that maybe you want to get off your chest, you can do it, but do it from a place of kindness. Do it from a place of compassion. So often the people on the other side have no idea of what your perception of that situation is because they've got a totally different perception of the situation. And we just assume, well, of course they see it my way. Why wouldn't they see it my way? Like, why would anybody see it anything different? There's no other different way. Look at our politics. Look at our politics in this country right now. So divided. So divided. And each side thinks that the other side is like the devil, or that the other side is just out to just destroy everything. And I look at it and I think, okay, so if you follow me, you know that I believe in a woman's right to choose and bodily autonomy for women. I believe in gay rights and the autonomy that goes there. And I don't think we should ban books. I don't believe information is bad. I think information is good. Should it be age regulated? Yes, there should be appropriateness. This is why we have, ratings in movies. But I look at it and I think, well, why doesn't everybody think that? But other people have opinions that are so diametrically opposed that they look at me and they think, well, why on earth would you be pro-choice? Why on earth would you, not ban that book? Or like, what? And so it's important for us to understand there doesn't have to be a wrong in order for there to be a right. There doesn't have to be a left and a right. It just needs to be a conversation. And one of the things that's frustrating for someone like me in this country is that we've really lost our ability to say, let's find some common ground. Let's find some places in where we can speak calmly. And it is something, full disclosure, because I really do try to be, clear and open. I try to be transparent. If you look at my personal Facebook page, which is public, you will not necessarily see that magnanimous spirit on all of my posts, because there are times where I just get super mad and super frustrated. And that's okay, because I'm human like everybody else. But it is something I'm working on to say, okay, do I need to put that out into the world just because I'm mad about it? Do I need to express my madness, my anger through that? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And it is something I'm working on. And I use that also to almost like it's an outlet for me to be able to put things out there where I would never want to bring them into our sacred space. But choose a path that works for you. Hopefully that is a path of compassion and a path of consideration that not everybody was raised the way we were raised, or believes what we believe, or thinks what we think. And it was interesting, my girlfriend who lives in another state, like totally across the country, says like, are you not seeing all these commercials for blah blah blah? And I'm like, gosh, no, I've never seen a commercial for that. Like, are you not seeing, and so we have this understanding that where I live in a very touristy town, the news is going to cover, this or that on one channel or another, and where somebody else lives, they may be covering, like out in the western part of the United States, they're covering the water crisis, which isn't a thing so much. We have a different water crisis here in Florida. We're still having flooding, and we have the rising tides in South Florida, where South Florida floods in the evenings when the tide comes in. So we have a very different problem with water here than they may be having in California. Apropos of that, this is my one little PSA. I've decided that I'm going to thank you so much, Chris, for doing that. I really appreciate it. I have decided that I am going to start sharing this piece of information because I feel like it's really important for all of us. I love almonds. I have stopped eating almonds. I have stopped eating almonds because it takes 1 whole gallon of water to grow 1 almond. 1 gallon of water, 1 almond. This does not seem to be a good trade-off for my love of almonds for our environment. So I'm not trying to be political, but that was a personal choice that my husband and I made, that we are no longer eating almonds, because that's a couple of gallons of water that we would not have to contribute to California and Arizona and Colorado's water crisis. So as they're trying to figure out how to deal with the Colorado River, this is something that I can do. And it seems like a little tiny thing, right? But, and you've heard me say this, if you follow me at all, you've heard me say, even baby steps are steps forward. Even baby steps are steps forward. Or you've heard me talk about the story of the starfish, right? Where the child is walking along the beach with hundreds and hundreds of starfish that have washed ashore, and she's throwing them back, or he's throwing them back, and a grown-up comes along, another person comes along and says, what are you doing? You can't possibly make a difference. And the child looks at the starfish that they're holding in their hand and says, well, it makes a difference to this one, and throws it back. We can make a difference, even if it's tiny. And so as you are considering, do you want to make an overture to a relationship, or, something that's been causing, Michael, what we say in my family is spilkus, which is the Yiddish word for, agita, or just unrest in your innards, in your guts, where you're just, you're holding on to something that's just like, because it really bothers you. It's spilkus, right? It's a good Yiddish word. It kind of sounds like what it is. And so when as you're deciding how you want to move forward, just understand that even a baby step is still a step forward. And just by taking a step, you free yourself, you release that drama, that schmilkus, and you take back some of your power that you have inadvertently given away to that situation. When we acquiesce and we decide not to deal with something or to say nothing, we give up a piece of our power. We give it away. And so even if you're just doing something little, you're bringing back your power. You're taking back your power. It's not like, power! I'm not saying that. But you're bringing back a piece of your power over yourself, and how your autonomy, and how you live your life, and how you let things affect you, whether positive, negative, front, back, left, right, whatever it is. We all have the ability to take back some of that power by making an action or addressing a situation, even if it's the babyest of steps. just as the reminder to come from that place of compassion, right? To come from the place where the person on the other side of whatever that conflict is may not have any idea about where you are on your side. Okay. All right, so let's leave it there for right now, and we're going to say big, woohoos and thank yous to Chris Judd for handling the messages. So if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so happy that you're here. We do a no, thank you. It will surprise you. It may not surprise you to know my degree is actually in international relations law and diplomacy, but no. So if you're new here, thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. But no, if you are new here, you will know that we do some collective channeling, some collective information that they asked me to share with you, which is all what that all was. And then we're going to do a collective card reading for the week for everybody. And then we will be doing some individual card readings. So if you are here for an individual card reading, hang in there. We will get to you. We usually do that in the second half hour. So we're going to get our, and more if you look at the comments, you see Chris is explaining that to you as well. But welcome, welcome. And again, if you're here for a card reading, just hang in there. We're going to do the collective card reading, and then we'll shift to individual card readings. There are rules around that, so do hang in there. When we get to that point, we will grab the rules, and we'll go over that super quick. So, so our first card, I really wanted to dive back into Michael Farmer's animal, and the guidebook is just jumping all over the place, into Michael Farmer's messages, animal spirit messages, because there's just so much going on with animals right now around a lot of us. And so this is the cheetah, and the cheetah says, get clear on your intention, stay focused, and move quickly to achieve your goal. So I love this because I love when the cards show us they're listening. Don't you? Doesn't that just give you all the good tingles, all the good feels? So here's cheetah. It says, get clear on your intention, which is what we've been talking about, right? So this is what we've been talking about, is getting clear on where do you want to take back power? Where do you want to, make a change? What do you want to address? What kind of shift are you looking for? Get clear on your intention. Stay focused. Stay in your lane, right? We talk about this all the time. Stay in your lane, and then move quickly to achieve your goal. Now, again, your goal may be that baby step. So my husband and I, we bought some property in North Florida on the Suwannee River. We have owned this piece of property for 9 months, and we love kayaking. We're big kayakers. We've owned this property on the river for 9 months. We have never yet put our boats into the water until this past weekend. Finally, for the first time in 9 months, we put our boats into the Suwannee River, and it was like, that was the goal of the day. Like, we weren't trying to paddle a specific distance. We weren't trying to paddle to a certain, we'd love to paddle up to our property. It was a little too late in the day to do that. The goal was get the kayaks on the trailer, get safely up to the launch place, which is about 3 hours north, get into the water on the boats, have a lovely time, get safely home. Those were the goals. It would have been nice to paddle the 3.5 miles up from where we launched up to our property, but that wasn't the goal of the day. We achieved the goals, even though they weren't big. It doesn't have to be big to be meaningful, okay? So when this is saying to you, get clear on your intention, stay focused, move quickly to achieve your goal. It does not have, just because we have the word goal, doesn't mean, woo! It doesn't have to be. It could be a little goal. Little goals count. Even baby steps forward are still steps forward, okay? So here's the cheetah card. All right, we're going to shift over to, today I was feeling Rebecca Campbell, the Work Your Light Oracle card deck. I love this deck. I know we've been doing Colette's decks for a while, but today I was really feeling Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle. So we're going to jump in there, and we're going to grab a couple. Well, Michael, they don't actually have alligators, or at least there weren't alligators in the Suwannee when we were there because the water was freezing. And alligators are cold-blooded, so they're not interested in that. But where we paddle a lot down here in Central Florida, in the St. Johns River and in a lot of the springs and the rivers, the Recaivo River and things like that, we see alligators all the time. Alligators are pretty lazy, and if you give them their space, they really don't have any reason to bug you. It's where people start to get like, make it move, do something. Or they startle the alligator. I see a lot of these videos that are like, the alligator attacked him. I'm like, no, they didn't. They scared him. The alligator was sleeping and the paddler got too close, just didn't know they were there, and they scared each other. So no, we do have alligators, lots of alligators here in Florida. We've never had a problem because we try not to be stupid when we paddle, and we try really hard to go quietly where we paddle so that we have a better chance of seeing wildlife. We've seen amazing things: alligators, manatees, of course, otters, tons of birds, ospreys and egrets and owls. We've seen raccoons come down to the water. I've even seen raccoons up in the trees, deer, foxes, bears. So just, you go quietly, you mind your business. But they're still, they are a little bit scary when we see them because they are very powerful, but again, lazy. And we leave them alone, they leave us alone, and all of that. I hear ya. I can't be in water over my head without hearing the Jaws music playing. When I was a kid, when that movie came out, I wouldn't even get in the swimming pool for a long time. So I was convinced it was going to somehow burst through the light or the drain. I know, I understand. I understand. But we can't live in fear. We can't live in fear. I mean, you can. That's a choice. But, I talk to people all the time. I talk to you all the time about leaning in and knowing Spirit has us and that Spirit's with us and Spirit's going to protect us. And so I just assume that it's okay. I just assume that we're okay. I also don't go swimming in places where there might be, like, great white sharks. At least not by myself. But when we were down in the Bahamas, we saw lemon sharks, and it was really cool to see them. The Jaws movie, a lot of us saw that movie too young. But to this day, I'm not a horror movie person, like, at all. So as soon as I hear that music, Michael, I'm with you. I'm out. Like, I'm out. I saw the movie. I'm good. I'm done. If there's like, what is it, like the Freddy Krueger or any Jason or any of these things, I just hear that one thing of the music, and I'm like, all right, I'll be, y'all let me know when you're done, because I'm not. But for me also, it's an energy. Like, I don't want that energy of a horror movie in my energy. I don't want that malice, that maliciousness, that murdery things. I don't want that in my energy. So honestly, I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but I've been watching Young Sheldon lately, and it's hilarious. So I think Annie Potts should be getting Emmy awards for that. So she's hilarious. Anyway, we digress. So here's Transformation as our first card for the collective card reading past the Cheetah card. So what do we need to know? What's the big thing we need to understand right now? And this is the Transformation card, and it says things are changing at a cellular level, and this is a time of deep healing. Do you not just love that the cards are listening to our conversation? I mean, I know Google and Alexa and whoever else are also listening, but I'm always so grateful that the cards are listening. Spirit is listening. And it just reminds us that they're always with us, right? They're always with us. This is a time of transformation. This is a time of deep healing if we choose to get involved, right? Nothing is mandatory. Humans have free will. But if you choose to engage and you choose to move forward on that path, this is a time of deep healing. All right, so we're going to pull another card. We're going to do three, probably three, maybe four, probably three, and then we'll get into the individual reading. So this is Dance with Life. Do something to change your energy. Now this also fits exactly in with what we've been talking about, right? So here we have the cheetah that talks to us about getting focused on our intention, figuring out what the goal is, 1, 2, 3, large, small, whatever it is, and staying focused, staying in our lane, right? That's the cheetah, running straight, going forward, baby steps, big steps, whatever it is, right? And then we have the, oh, are we having a spammer? We start sending messages, ancestors, Abiola, we're going to be gone. So then we have the transformation card that reminds us that part of this goal setting and part of this staying in our lane and getting focused about our intention is that this is a time of deep healing, and this is it's an opportunity for us to engage in that healing if we choose to. And then this reminds us to dance with life because we are transforming, right? This is something that is changing within our energy, because when we choose to address those things that have been giving us focus, and we choose to address them when we take back our power, even if it's just a little nugget, and we take back our power, we really change our energy. And we also create the opportunity for us to have a little bit more fun. Because if we're not carrying all this other stuff around, we have a little more fun. Our energy is lighter. Up, and there she is, Ancestors and Viola. You are banned. Bye-bye. See you, bye. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you, don't do it. I tried to tell you, don't do it. If you're a spammer and you're on the page, just leave now. Because we're gonna ban you. It's pretty much that simple. If you're a spammer and you're on my page, leave now. We're going to ban you. Hello. You are not a spammer. You are welcome to stay. All right. If you're not a spammer, you're welcome to stay. If you're a spammer, just know we're gonna ban you. As soon as you post one comment, we're gonna knock you off, and you will be banned from the page. $0. Because this page is not for you. This page is for you. For all of you wonderful human beings. Okay, here's the last card for our collective reading. This is Star Mother. This is Star Mother. And the caption at the bottom says, how can you mother yourself? And so what's really important as we add this to our story of the cheetah, of transformation, of dance with life, and we move into Star Mother, is about self-care. The quote at the bottom, the caption at the bottom says, how can you mother yourself? And so this is about self-care. So as you're going forward, only push yourself as far as you're willing to go. Not comfortable. Change is not comfortable. Okay, I'm not talking about comfortable. If we all were trying to stay in our... Aileen, you just happened to come in on the tail end of that comment. My apologies, new friend. We're not talking about comfort, right? If everybody wanted to be comfortable, we'd always stay in our comfort zone. There would be no transformations, right? We would have none of that happening. And so this isn't about being comfortable. Allow yourself to be a little uncomfortable. Know that change is a little uncomfortable. Know that change can be a lot uncomfortable. Growth can be a lot uncomfortable. If you are a person who grew as a kid and you kind of grew quickly, like over a summer, you grew 3 or 4 inches, your legs might have hurt. You might have had pain in your body because you were growing. Growth is painful. It doesn't have to be debilitating, but we're not trying to stay like eating bonbons on the couch. But with Star Mother, we're reminded, that self-care is still a big part of transformation, and that it's really important that we're still taking care of ourselves. So with the cheetah card where we started, it's asked to get very clear on our intention, move forward quickly with focus, with intention. Where are you going to reach your goal? Whether it is large or small, does not matter, right? Whatever is right for you, whatever situation you are trying to address, because we are in a period of transformation. This is this time where we are moving forward and we are shifting who we are and how we see things. We're allowing ourselves to address situations that have been complicated or maybe painful or convoluted, confused, maybe misaligned. We're allowing ourselves to see things from a different way. We are allowing ourselves to dance with life as we go. We're not taking things too seriously, and we're making sure that we are shifting our energy in a way that is positive for us, regardless of how we're handling of that situation. We're coming to the situation from a place of love and compassion and open-hearted dialogue. And then we are finishing with Star Mother, which is the reminder that in all things, self-care is essential. Self-care is essential. So we do want to take those steps forward, whether they're large or small, but we want to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in danger, we're not giving away our power, and we're not letting others take advantage of us. Okay, so we are protecting ourselves as we go forward. Okay, so with all of that, let's look at isn't that a Star Mother is such a great card. Isn't that great? Love that card. All right, because it reminds us, because sometimes we just need to be like, whoa, little me time. And what our theme for the year, right, was 2023 is the year about me, right? Not me, you. Like, it's for you to say that it's about you, right? 23 is about me. So what are we creating? How are we cultivating? How are we connecting with others? These are the things that we've been talking about I say all year long. It's February 6th. But these are the things, is how do we show up in the world, right? Because 2023 should be the year about me, about how we are showing up in the world and how we are having self-care. All right, Ellen Jane jumped the gun a little bit, but we're going to let her go first. And so if you are here and you would like to have a card, yay. And what I'd like you to do is think of a question that you would like to have answered. It could be a general question, not a yes or no question. Okay, what do I need to know about this? Not a yes or no question. Cards don't like yes or no questions, right? We want to get information about the situation that's going on. And so we're going to start with Ellen Jane. And so if you are here for a card reading, go ahead and put yourself in the comments, me please, and we try and go in order. We really try to be fair. All right, so Ellen, this is Warrior Woman. Ooh, Ellen Jane, this is Warrior Woman. It says, have you answered your deepest calling? And look at her, because Ellen, she is holding that sword right smack dab in the center of herself. And if you look at that, that is down, she's holding the base of that sword is at her sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is where we identify like how we think about ourselves. And with the solar plexus chakra, it's how we show up in the world. Those two, that abdomen, that dantian, the womb space, those two chakras, the sacral and the solar plexus, is how I see myself, how I receive energy from others, and how I want to put my energy out into the world. And so she's holding this sword right at the womb space, right? That place of creativity, the source of our power. Whether you're male or female, you have a womb space, okay? You may not have a uterus. It's not about sex. It's not about gender. It's that place in our center, in our guts, where we create stuff and where we show up in the world as who we want to be. And so this Warrior Woman, it isn't about doing battle, and it isn't about pushing yourself in, further and, Spartan race or anything like that, unless you're into that, and hey, yay. But Ellen, it is about finding your seat of your power in your womb space and allowing yourself to show up as the person you really want to be. So this is what it's talking about for you, is who do you really want to be, and how can you show up in the world as that person, or as that, embodying that energy or that emotion, that love, that strength, that courage. Courage comes in. Okay? So it isn't about doing battle, and it isn't about being hard and it's about tapping into your womb space, into the core of who you are, and deciding how you want to show up in the world. Getting in touch with your truest self. Ellen, that's where that card comes for you. Okay, Michael. Michael, I think this might be your first time here, and I'm so happy you have such lovely comments. I'm so glad you decided to join us today. All right, so Michael, your card comes in upside down, and this card is unbound. It says, releasing soul patterns, soul contracts, and past lives. And this comes in upside down. You're welcome, Ellen. This comes in upside down, which is this reminder. It's not the opposite, okay? Well, just when a card comes in upside down, it's not about the opposite, but it is about getting you to take a closer look at it and getting you to really see, am I seeing this in the right way? And so this is unbound. So it's really about letting go of some past assumptions. And so I feel like with you, Michael, I feel like you have spent a lot of time like being a searcher and grabbing onto, and then grabbing's not the right word, but allowing yourself to experience multiple teachers, multiple ideas. It's like you're doing a little Reiki, you're doing a little past life regression, you're doing some mediumship, you're doing some meditation, you're doing all vegetarian, maybe like dabbling in all these different places, and not necessarily allowing you to come into focus. It feels like that it's more like an octopus trying to like, and we see this a lot with people who maybe are waking up, just now, or they're more recently waking up to really be like trying to grab and just absorb everything they possibly can as fast as they can. And when you eat your meal so fast, you can't even remember what you ate or how it tasted. So, and all before lunch. And so, Michael, this is just a reminder to slow down. Enjoy the journey. Savor your things that you're experiencing, the classes you're taking, the people you're connecting with. Savor these things. Don't feel like you have to rush through to get to some imaginary finish line in order to be that. There isn't a that for you to be. You are already being you. So enjoy that journey savor the journey. That's really where that comes in for you. I don't seem to be like others in the groups that I'm part of. Welcome to our world. Raise your hand if you can feel like, no, Chris, I have not forgotten you, my darling. Never, never, never. And raise your hand if you feel like you don't fit in. So if you are somebody who didn't fit in, you found the right place, because that's really, where we are. So, it is my pleasure to serve. It is my pleasure to help. But if you are a person that felt like you just never felt fit in with other people, you might be an empath. You might be somebody who's higher, has higher sensitivities. So, you are not alone, my friend, and it is just a matter of finding your peoples. So, I'm so happy that you were able to find us. So, hello, Akarna. Okay, Chris Judd is next. And there was a question about overwhelm. So I'm going to go back up to this comment here. About the overwhelm I've been feeling. Okay. Yeah, scrolled in the wrong direction. Okay, overwhelm. So here's the thing about overwhelm. Overwhelm, it can often be a matter of spirit trying to get our attention, right? When we are, tell it, girl. When we are ignoring or not paying attention, if we're not getting the message that Spirit's trying to get us to see, and they're like going, come on, look, would you look? And we're not paying attention, we can feel that Spielkus. We can feel that overwhelm. We can feel... The other thing about overwhelm, and there's going to be a card attached to this, but I'm bringing in all this information. I want to share that first. The other thing about overwhelm is it can be when we're trying to, like with Michael, be the octopus. We're trying to do all the things and be all the things for all the people all the time and be exactly who you need me to be, when you need me to be it, how you need me to be it. Here I am, okay? And we can really overwhelm ourselves. And so for Chris, I want to really direct you back to the whole message that we've been talking about this time, which is getting focused on the goal, getting focused on our intention, getting clear on our intention, and moving, staying in our lane and moving forward towards whatever that goal is, and then making sure that we are understanding we are transforming. We are all in that growth. This is a time of soul evolution, right? Like, this is it. And that we are, part of, something bigger, but that self-care is really important. And prioritizing that self-care is really important. So we're going to pull a card around all of that. But Chris, I want to really refer you back to the things that we have been talking about for the last 45 minutes. Okay? Tammy, it is super hard to be an empath. And if you are somebody who feels like that, please go to my website and look at the Empowered Empath online course. You can find it on my website under education. Or you can go to the education website, which is Dworkin-Smith.learn.com. But it is a self-paced class, online course to help you become an empowered empath. And we start with, how are you receiving information in? How is that processing? How are you processing it? And now how are you putting it out, and how you choose how to set your boundaries, how to, nurture yourself, and how to put up your own filters so that you are protected as you're moving through the world in the way that works the best for you. Okay, so you are so welcome. All right, so for Chris, because I did not forget, but that information was important for everyone, and I know Chris has already taken the course, but you may choose to go back because you own it. You can choose to go back to get it. But here's this card, the ever unfolding rose. And so we are constantly having layers and things that we are discovering new parts of ourselves. But it says, cracked open, it's happening for you and not to you. And so we are layers. But this reminder is to stop, maybe get quiet, which I know sometimes can be hard if you live in a house with other people, things like that. To get some quiet, to get some space. And to ask Spirit, what is it I'm missing? Because a lot of times when we feel this overwhelm, when we feel this unrest, there's something that we're missing that they're trying to show us, and we're just not getting it. And sometimes they're speaking in French, and I don't speak French. Sometimes they're speaking in a language in a way that we just are not connecting the dots. And there's not something wrong with us, but we are so busy doing all these things that we have to have this reminder to stop and to listen. And I know, because I know, Chris, I know there's been a series of pruning choices, and this is a season of shifting and moving forward. And so where I feel like there may also be is trying to still, as you are redefining yourself, and I feel like you are so on the right track with that, but as you are redefining yourself, that there is still this desire to be all the things to all the people. And I feel like with some of the pruning that you have been doing, which is all good, and I think you've made great choices with real discernment, that there could be some guilt that we're putting on ourselves of letting people down. And I just want to say, and please pardon me for anybody who would be offended by this, but fuck that, because it's your life. And what you choose to put out to the universe, what you choose to put out as a gift to others, is a gift. And we get to do that as long as it is fulfilling other people, but that it is fulfilling us as well. Some days I'm scrambling and running like just to get in here at the right time so I'm not late for you folks. And I know I was a couple minutes late today. But being here with you, even though when it can get crazy like last Monday with all the, spammy people, and I got off with you and I'm like, oh, Lord. But it's still the best part of the week because I get to be here with you and I get to share what is important for them, to be a voice for them, and to be of service to you for them. And sometimes we can get overwhelmed with trying to be all the things for all the people, for me or for you, when the fact is that I don't work for you, no offense at all, I work for them. I work for them. My job is to be their voice in the physical to bless you. And so when we understand that in a different way, even the people who pay me money to sit down with me and for me to do my job, they pay for it, but I'm still working for them. And it's a little bit funny, and I don't mean any disrespect by it, but I make sure that I am not confused about who the bosses are, right? So Chris, if you're feeling this overwhelm, it really is this push, this pressure to stop and take some time and breathe and ask them, what would you have me do? What would you have me do? And then my challenge to you, my dear friend, because Chris and I go way back, is to pick up your deck of cards, because I know you've got several, probably more than me, is pick up your deck of cards after some quietude and ask them what they want you to know to help release this feeling of overwhelm. Because I feel like there's like a spaghetti pot of stuff in there. Some guilt about letting things go, some trying to still feel like you need to be in order to be valid, which is bullshit. You do you, right? You do you. And you follow that wave, that where you're bringing your light to the world, because you are. You are. And overstressing yourself and pushing yourself further to do more, it's not serving anybody. And I think that there is happiness around you paring things down and getting focused like the cheetah and getting focused on where you want to go and what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, and I'm going to say this because I know I can say this. Stop crying. I love you. All right. All right. There's a lot of ego, Michael. There can always be a lot of ego. But the thing is that they have all of our best interests at heart. And when you can trust into that, they say, Jesus, take the wheel. And I'm like, I don't need to have somebody else take the wheel, but I want them to drive with me. I don't need to surrender and give up my power to let somebody else do, but it is about having them drive with me, right? We are rowing the boat together. We row the boat together. I love your guts right back. Hello, Patsy Connolly Smith. Welcome, welcome. All right, we're going to do one more, and we'll do one more for Patsy. Hello. If you wanted a card reading and you did not make a comment already, Patsy, I got you because I assume you're here. If you wanted a card and you did not say anything, say it now. Otherwise, you're going to wait till next Monday. So, Patsy, I'm assuming you're here for a card, so I'm just going to give you one anyway. I hope that's okay. Oh, Lord. I try not to pull cards for people who don't ask for them because... all right, I'm going to put that aside. That's your card, Patsy. I'm just going to put it aside because I hear them. They're telling me she didn't ask for it. And for me, I really do have those boundaries because I feel like it's mental trespassing. And I never want to like be mental trespassing on somebody who didn't want a card. Patsy might have just been saying hello. So, oh, thanks, Michael. Okay, so we're going to do Laura. Laura, welcome back, Laura. All right, and Tammy. And then we'll wait to see what Patsy says. We put her card to the side. Okay, so we're going to do Laura. And apologize, Patsy. I wasn't trying to bump you to the back of the line. I will make sure we get you. So, Laura, this is, I don't know when you tuned in. You might need to check out the replay. Hey, shh. It's puppy. Hey, it's okay. Relax. Relax. There's literally nothing out there. It's okay. Okay, so I don't know where the dogs are all excited. So, Laura, I'm not sure where you tuned in, but we were just talking about the ever unfolding rose for Chris. So you might need to look back on the replay because I feel like this again is going to be relevant for you as well. This is really about asking. It's about getting quiet and asking Spirit, where do you want me to go? How can I serve with you? How can I be your voice in the physical? How can I help myself and others to move forward? So the ever unfolding rose is a reminder that the things that are happening to us in our world are happening for us and not to us. So we can feel overwhelmed. We can feel, why is all this stuff happening? It's happening for you. It's not happening to you. It's happening to help you to develop and expand and become more. So this is the ever unfolding rose cards, and this is for Laura. Okay, and we've seen that come up more than once today. All right, so we're gonna have Tammy. Tammy. Okay, Tammy is Mintonkin. This is longing for home, belonging, part of the original light workers. So Tammy. Mintonkin was part of the, you are so welcome, Laura. So Mintonkin was part of, like with the Pleiadians and all these other souls and entities that have come from so many other places that have, okay, so I'm like a sci-fi fan, not yucky, scary, like alien sci-fi, but like Stargate and the Stargate series. And one of the things that we knew on the Stargate series was about the ancients and the people who, yes, I can spell that. Oh, why that? Okay, come on. Yes, I can spell that. But so one of the things that we knew about the in Stargate was the ancients is the people who had evolved into higher forms of energy, and they were the ancients. They were the people that helped form the galaxy, or the energies that helped form the galaxy. Oh, Alex, you're banned. Bye. Bye-bye. No spammers here. We ban you. Banned. Bye. Banned. Banned. Okay, so Mintonkin is Mintakan. Mintakan. If you're a spammer, just go now because we're going to ban you. We're just going to ban you from the page. It's that simple. Okay, so with this, Tammy, it is really about getting in touch with your higher spiritual self because you also feel like you've been waking up and you also feel like you're kind of treading water, swimming around, not sure what direction to go in. And this is this kind of gut check for you to connect with your ancestors and to connect with your deepest self and to not be afraid of it, because I feel like you have a little bit of this I'm afraid of what I'm going to find kind of a thing going on, Tammy. And so we want to just let you know that you are safe. You are safe in the world. You are safe, with spirit. But it is okay and encouraged for you to know yourself. One of the things that's really, really important is we have to know ourselves, especially if we're highly sensitive beings, if we're empaths, things like that. We've got to know ourselves. And that's part of the shadow work. That's part of, being an empath and learning how we show up in the world. We know ourselves first, and then we can know, how we want to show up in the world. One of my teachers, my mentor, Joe Shield, he has this saying, he says all the time, if you know who you are, then you know if you know who you are, then you know what you're not. And I think that it's really true. So one of the things, Tammy, is it's really important for you to get to know yourself and not to be afraid of yourself, because the things that you are experiencing and the things that you're learning, like, nothing is wrong. You're not wrong. Michael said before about not really feeling like you fit in. That doesn't make you wrong. Just because you're different, or you don't feel like you belong, or you're, not sure if you're feeling like you're at home in your own skin, doesn't make you wrong. It just makes you under construction and in development. And so, Tammy, this is, really about discovering who you are and who you want to be. How do you want to show up in the world? But get to know yourself, because especially as an empath, sometimes we don't know ourselves because we put on the coat of other people. Other people come in, it's like, oh, you're happy, great, I'll be happy. Like, oh, you're unhappy? Okay, let me take this one off. Oh, we're going to be unhappy now. And we put on the coat of another person who's around us instead of making sure we're wearing our own coat. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Hi, Leslie. All right, so we're going to finish it up. And did you ask me for a card? Okay. Anne asked if her house was safe. You've got to give me some... that's it. Yeah. So you got to put your oxygen mask on your own self first. All right. What can you tell me about Annie's house? What can you tell me about Annie's house? Oh, cool. Welcome from Scotland. What can you tell me about Anne's house? And we're going to finish it out because, we're coming on an hour. So we're going to, all right, Anne's house. What do you need to know about Anne's house? Trust your path. If you knew that you would be supported, what would you do? So, Anne, you asked about your house. This is trust. So this is, if you knew that you could make the house safe, what would you do? So this is telling you that you need to trust the direction that you're going in, and make sure that you're working from a position of assuming the highest good. A lot of times we assume the worst, and so this is a reminder to assume the highest good, to assume the best outcomes, and to act from that position. So if you expected the best outcome for your house, what would you do to make sure to keep it safe? So that would be the card for Anne. And we're going to have Leslie have a card, absolutely, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll probably do one card for everybody just at the end. And again, if you are here as a spammer, just know as soon as you make a comment, we're going to ban you. So just to say it, I feel like I say it every once in a while. Oh, Michelle, sure. Okay, so, all right. Leslie from Scotland, trust the niggle. What is niggling at you? What is that niggle, right? Leslie, what is it that you know you should be doing? And you may need to go back and watch the beginning where we talked about resolving relationships and addressing conflict. But what is that niggle, Leslie? What is that thing that's been trying to get you to, what is that thing that's trying to get your attention, right? That you have been ignoring. We're like, This is the energetic time. We're past the full moon in Leo. This is the time for you to say, okay, I hear you. Oh, Lila Marie, yeah, banned. Bye, banned. If you're a spammer and you're here and you're going to make comments, just know that we're going to ban you. Like, immediately, you will be banned. We have zero tolerance, so banned. So just leave now, spammers, just leave now, because I will ban you from the page, done like that. And I appreciate Facebook so much creating the opportunity for me to just do it fast. So I don't even have to stop talking to my new friend Leslie from Scotland. Trusting where you are being led, Leslie. Trust where you are being led. Trust what you feel is welling up inside of you, saying, I want to do this, I want to go in this direction, I want to be part of this. Don't operate from a place of fear. Operate from the place of faith and trust in the universe. Trust them. They have got your back. And the more, it's a relationship. The more we trust them, the more they can do for us. It's a relationship. If you have a pair bond where you are in a relationship with a marriage or a parent or a child or a best friend or a partner or whatever it is, you know that you didn't necessarily, unless you're like the true, the twin flames, you probably did not come to that relationship and be like, best friends, soulmates, we trust each other, I'm going to tell you everything and rely on you for everything, right? We have to have time to develop. We develop that relationship. We develop that trust. And when we do that, it's no different working with them. And the more we can lean in and trust and build that relationship over time, it gets stronger and stronger. Up, Tanya Tidra, bye, your band. Bye. Bye, band. Band. Okay, so the more you can trust them and build into that relationship, the more you will, the more they can do for us, right? It's about trust. All right, so Michelle Williams is next. Oh, everybody's coming on late. All right, so we're going to do, I have to cut it off. So we're going to do Michelle, we're going to do Vanessa, and Christine. And that's going to be the end. So Michelle, Vanessa, and Christine. Now, when I do Michelle's card and then I forget who was next, please remind me. Michelle, Vanessa, and Christine. Okay. Michelle, play. I love that card. Play. This is a reminder. It says, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. Michelle, have some fun. Michelle, I think this is a pretty self-explanatory card. You are welcome, Leslie. You are working, you are focused, you're doing all the things that we talked about in the first half of the reading. You are doing all the things, but don't forget to have some fun. Don't forget to have some fun. Michelle, you are loud. It does not mean you are shirking. Oh, look, Samantha Smith, spammers, bye. Banned. If you're a spammer, just leave now because we're just going to ban you. Okay? So that you have, yep, banned. So, Michelle, that you have, you're not being irresponsible by feeding your soul with things that bring you joy. It is okay to play. Okay. All right. Christine and Vanessa. All right. You are welcome, my friend. All right. Christine and Vanessa. Christine. Oh, isn't that interesting? Because I'm sitting here shuffling, and the play card came up again. So, Christine, that may be a message for you as well. I'm going to pick another one just in case I didn't do it good, or if I unconsciously put the play card back on the top. All right, Mintonkin, that comes up again. Mintonkin comes up again. Okay. All right, so Mr. Tumba Moon Healing, if you're a spammer, just know as soon as you make one comment, we're going to ban you, so just don't even. Oh, there you go. Bye, banned. Banned. You're banned. Bye. If you're a spammer, leave now. Okay, so, no. Okay, hold that thought, Michael Groomer. All right, so where am I? Christine. Okay, right, Christine? All right, so Christine, Mintonkin, this is also for you, the same, we had this card come up before about getting in touch with your truest self, getting in touch with your soul, getting in touch with your truest self of what is it that you really want. So many times we are moving through our life and we're living a life and we're building a life that is what other people want or what other people we think is expected. And so Mintonkin reminds us about being in touch with our truest self and living our life from that place. We don't have to live a life that is fitting ourselves, smushing ourselves into the mold that we feel like other people expect us to be in. And so this card, Christine, reminds you that it is safe for you to know yourself and to live your life in a way that fits you. You don't want to live your life wearing someone else's shoes. Find the shoes that fit you. Discover the size of your feet. And it's just a metaphor. I'm not talking about, your feet. Just discover who you really are and know that that's good. Who you are is great because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't, okay? But allowing yourself to live your life in a way that is nourishing to you, to your human, and to your soul, that's the power. Like, that's the gift right there. Okay, Vanessa's the last one, and so Michael is asking on my website, becoming an empowered empath is not the same thing as mediumship. If you would like to be, to learn to do mediumship, that is a one-on-one thing. And from time to time, I do offer like a groups, a 8-session group beginning mediumship course. But that's usually like when somebody, asks me, hey, will you put one together? Then I'll offer another one. The Becoming an Empowered Empath is an online course that is self-paced. It's an 8-module online course to help you understand yourself better and to understand if you're an empath and how you receive information and energy, and to help you understand how to move in the world from a place of empowerment and not from a place of victimhood. Being an empath does not have to be a burden. It can be a blessing. It really can be a blessing. So if you, there should be a link on my website to click through to the Empowered Empath class, and if there's not because there was, and there should be, and if not, it is, no, it's okay. And if not, then you can go to Sherry Dworkin-Smith Learn, and that's where the website is housed. Oh, Saluk, band, bye. See you, band. Okay. All right, so Vanessa is our last one, and we have to make it be the last one because I really have to be somewhere else. So Vanessa, this is also the card that comes up for you is play. Okay? So Vanessa, this is the card also is that you can live your life and build in time for fun. So from my own experience, can I tell by looking at someone if they have certain abilities or if they're sensitive? Okay, so here's the thing. Boundaries for empaths are incredibly important. I have boundaries of what I allow to come in, but also from an ethical standpoint, I want to have boundaries about what I'm allowing to go out. So this is why we put this card aside, because that person who commented just said hi, and she didn't ask for a card. So I put the card to the side, and I'm putting it back in the deck now. Because I don't believe we have the right, just because we might have the ability, to go into someone else's energy and start poking around. I wouldn't just like start checking your ears and looking in your throat and looking in your pockets and stuff if we met. So for me, yes, the answer is if somebody is sitting down with me and we have made an energetic agreement that you showed up here or I was going to do a session with you, we have an implicit agreement that we are connecting our energy. And in that, then not so much by looking at them, but I can feel it. But it's interesting because, there are times when you can look at someone and you can literally see their past lives in their face. So there are interesting things that can happen. But again, the boundaries are important because the thing is that you can't, it's not healthy, especially as an empath, to go out into the world and like, look at all the people and decide, are you safe? Are you safe? Are you safe? You can literally make yourself ill. I have been there. So we worry about our own self. We put our oxygen mask on our own self. We put our own boundaries and principles in place that serve us, that serve spirit and serve us. And then from there, we can move through the world. And it's none of my business whether a person, has abilities or not, unless they come to me and say, hey, let's talk about this. They open that door. It's none of my business. This is the thing I see with people. People also, often talk about like the mediumship shows and things like that. Okay, I worked in TV and movies for a long time. Let me tell you, every person that you see on that screen that speaks a word has signed a release form, first of all. Second of all, they've microphoned them and they have, probably repeated that, whatever that line was, 3 times at least. Okay, we don't go up to other people and go, oh, girl, your grandma, she talking to me. I got to tell you. No, I don't got to tell you because it's none of my business. If her grandmother wants to get her a message, then she's going to impress on her to find a medium and book an appointment. And then her grandma, if I'm the one, then her grandma's going to talk to me. We don't trespass. Okay. You are welcome. I'm so happy that for me, that's a soapbox issue. So I'm glad you asked. I'm happy to share that. All right, we're going to do one last card for the collective to close it out. And that's mirror. The card is mirror. Who or what is triggering you? But it comes in upside down. Okay, it comes in upside down, which reminds us that it's not about us being triggered, but it's about how we're showing up in the world, because we are not only a reflection of what we see in the world, but we are also reflecting ourselves back into the world. And so one of the things we've been talking about all year long, right, as we were coming into 2023, the year about me, you, is what do we want to create? What do we want to cultivate? How do we want to show up in the world? And so the mirror card being upside down isn't about what's triggering us. It's about how we're showing up in the world. Show up in a place of love. Show up in a place of compassion. Show up in a place that says, I'm self-care, but I am here to hold space for you. And I want to hear what you have to say so that maybe we can find some common ground. And because we're just coming out of the full moon in Leo, that this is a time to handle some things that maybe we've been avoiding, some conversations we've been avoiding, but to not come from a place of accusation, to come from a place of love and compassion, to say, when we hang out, this is what I've been feeling, and I'm wondering if we can talk about that so maybe we can, come to a better place together. Okay? I want to say thank you so much for spending so much time with me today. It is truly such a joy and an honor to be with you and to share time with you. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. We do meditation right back here on Thursday night at 7 o'clock, and I am so honored to have you join us. Loved it. Click the bell. Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Michael. Welcome to the community of light. Have a wonderful rest of your week, everyone, and please know that you are so deeply loved. How can you talk to someone without pointing or accusing fingers? Okay, so Vanessa, go back and watch the replay because we actually did address that. I don't want to cut off your question, but we actually did talk about that earlier in the video. So definitely check out the replay. Mwah. Have a blessed week, everyone. You are loved.